Welcome back to Houston Life. Ann Beiler is best known as the founder of Auntie Anne's Pretzels. However, her success in the business world was marked by personal tragedy, which really began with the death of her 19-month-old daughter and nearly losing her husband, her family, and her faith.
And out of her pain came purpose and the desire to persevere toward success, personally and, of course, professionally. Today, Ann travels the world speaking and inspiring audiences everywhere, and she stopped by Houston Life to say hello. It's so nice to meet you.
Hello, y'all. Hello, Houston. I'm so happy to be here.
You see, your brand is so iconic. It's everywhere. And I feel like people probably just think, oh, wow, she's this successful businesswoman. They have no idea the depth of your story and your personal tragedy. You were raised in Pennsylvania in an Amish Mennonite community, Lancaster County, and 7 siblings. And you married your childhood crush. But describing your upbringing, anything but easy. Safe to say?
Absolutely, but I would say it was safe and it was secure because Mom and Dad were with us 24/7
Okay.
on the farm. I never came home from school and went into an empty house. Mom was always there.
Wow.
I don't know, it's just very different than what life is like for most families today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you say your tragedy really began when you lost your daughter. I mean, how did that spark something else in you? I mean, you must have gone through terrible depression.
So the day Angela was killed, she was killed by accidentally on the farm. My sister was driving a farm tractor and she accidentally ran over her and she was killed instantly. So the reason I think, as I look back on that now, many years ago, I still feel it like it happened yesterday.
Right.
But the reason that was so tragic for me was because I really believed that if I'm a good girl and I do everything just right and I love God and my faith is intact, I don't know. I didn't expect anything like that to ever happen. So the day that Angie was killed, I always say that the day she made her ascent into heaven, I began my very slow and gradual descent into a world of emotional pain and spiritual confusion.
Wow.
And how long did it take for you to bounce back? Because the business didn't come until more than a decade after your daughter tragically died.
Almost 20 years afterwards.
So what got you through that time? Because I can't imagine being able to get through that. I mean, many parents can identify with your pain.
That's true. It is tragic when you lose a child. It's like Angela brought so much joy to our home, and we were living our dream. As an Amish couple, that's all we wanted, family and community and faith. That's all we really were living for. So I think the death of Angie was tragic, but then a few months after Angie was killed, I isolated myself. My husband and I became like almost not estranged, but we lived in a silent marriage. We didn't know how to talk about the grief, and so I went to see my pastor at that time, and he took advantage of me, and so I began to experience abuse of spiritual power. It started with that, but then ended up into like just all kinds of abuse for almost 7 years. And so that was that just put me into
horrible.
I call it took me into the dark world.
Wow.
Angela's death took me into grief, but the abuse took me into the dark world.
A worse place.
And I stayed there for almost over 6 years in complete silence. Nobody knew, and it was ongoing.
How did you find the courage to break out of that? I hate to interrupt you.
Well, it's people that have experienced that understand that it's really hard to break out of it. You really don't know how. You feel like hopeless. I knew I was unlovable, I was unforgivable, I was unchangeable. I was a bad girl. I mean, all the guilt and all the shame of that. And I was told over and over again, it's all my fault. It was my fault. So I broke out of that when I finally one day, like just get up off my knees, stop crying, and go tell your husband. That's, in a nutshell, that's what happened. And I was 90 pounds. I thought life was over for me. I still wanted to be family, but I didn't know how anymore. Because I wasn't communicating. I was trying to raise our 2 daughters. I was just surviving, just getting through the day.
Wow.
So I went and told my husband my secret. So the message is, secrets will kill you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I realized I didn't know that at the time, but I was dying. I love a quote by Dr. Richard Dobbins. It's not the tragedy is not in dying, but it's what dies inside of us while we live. And most of us experience that when we experience tragedy and disappointment.
Wow, you just gave me chills when you said that. And secrets, I believe, what you said is so true. Secrets are toxic. Fast forward to today, and I think a lot of people, we always talk about the before and after, right? Everyone wants the after. They look at you as a successful person and businesswoman, and they think, wow, her life must have been paved with gold. And I think the struggles you faced really probably paved the way for you to create the life you really wanted. Fast forward to 1988, you purchased a little stand inside a Pennsylvania farmer's market, is that right? And you started selling pretzels.
Yeah.
So you were an unlikely entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You didn't mean to take over the world, it just sort of happened, right?
Okay, 3 things I didn't have when I started Auntie Anne's. I had no formal education, if you know anything about the Amish culture. 8th grade education, had no business plan, and we had no money, 0. I don't embellish my story because I don't have to. I mean, it's just no money. And we just had an opportunity to buy a farmer's market. But what really propelled us into owning a business was my husband, because of what we'd been through. He became very interested in helping couples with their marriages, and he wanted to be a psychologist, so he went and became a layman's counselor. That's as far as he got, but it gave him enough. Our experience and the knowledge that he got over 5 or 6 years gave him what he needed to actually be a counselor in our community. And he started counseling free as a free service and never did charge for about 12 years. But because of that, I went to work to support him. Jonas Beiler is my hero, my husband. We've been married 55 years.
Wow.
And we were able to stay together because he's amazing.
You believed in each other, and why? Okay,
Absolutely.
You did, and that in itself is just such a testament, right? But then you have this business that just starts booming. Why pretzels? And did you have a secret recipe in mind? I mean, how did that work?
None of it. I mean, it's just, I can't explain it. So I think people need to understand when you start a business, it's really important to have a purpose. Why do you want to do what you're doing? What is your purpose?
Right.
And we knew what our purpose was, and it was to help other people. And I went to work because I just wanted to make enough money to pay the groceries so that he could do what he wanted
What
to
he
do.
loved,
And he loved doing this. And so my plan, I was so overjoyed, overwhelmed, so excited that we were actually making money selling pretzels. Don't be upset with it. 55 cents a piece, 3 for $1.50.
Yeah.
And we were making money, putting money in the bank. Can you imagine that?
Nice.
So we bought the store sight unseen, and we got to the store and they were selling pretzels, pizza, and lemonade. I mean, you can tell I'm not a businesswoman. I was not a businesswoman. We just did what was in front of us. I think people, they wait for, I don't know, the right opportunity or just the right thing to come along. And I mean, that's good. Planning is good. But for us, we didn't have that background. I just went to work because I wanted to help my husband, and they had soft pretzels, and we perfected their soft pretzel recipe. And I'll never forget the moment when my husband and I were at the farmer's market together on a Friday, and I said to him, I'm taking the pretzels off the menu. They were horrible. Because I really didn't know much about pretzels.
But you knew that they didn't taste good.
Exactly, because I baked as a kid on a farm. I was the baker. I baked 60, 70 pies on a Friday night for market the next day. So I knew how to bake. And so my husband, I said, I'm going to take the pretzels off the menu because they're horrible. We were selling pizza and lemonade. And he said, no, wait a minute, dear, just wait. Let me go to the store, get some ingredients. Let me add it to the mix. Let's just see. And we saw in a second the pretzels were baked. And Auntie Anne's pretzels.
You are a fascinating person. We need a full hour to tell your story.
Yes!
What do you say we take a quick commercial break? After the break, we're going to head into the kitchen with Anne, try some of the recipes in your new cookbook. Sound like a plan?
Yes.
Okay, don't go away. Houston Life will be right back. Welcome back to Houston Life. We have moved over to the kitchen with the one and only Anne Beiler. She's the founder of Auntie Anne's, or Auntie Anne's Pretzels. And now she is sharing some of her favorite recipes in a brand new cookbook called Come to the Table.
And Anne, bringing the family together is what this cookbook is all about. Why is that so important?
It's very important to me because as a kid growing up on an Amish farm, we came to the table 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, without exception. So Come to the Table, my cookbook, the thought really behind that is that I want to encourage families. I know it's a fast food world. I mean, we're just going to drive up and eat in our car. And I don't know, I want to encourage families. So
Just get together.
Come to the table.
And talk to each other.
It's where I learned how to talk. It's where I learned how to fight. It's where I learned how to cook. Good thing Mom and I worked in the kitchen. We learned how to argue, and there was so much that we did around the table, and sharing. Like there was 8 of us kids. We always had to share.
Yeah. Lots of lessons at that table.
There was so many things. So come to the table. If you can't.
If these are at the table, I'll come to the table. These are whoopie pies.
So this is one of the recipes in the book. Is that right, Anne?
The whoopie pies. Both of the recipes I have here, the whoopie pies
So good.
and the shoe fly pie.
Look at that. And the shoe fly pie, I hadn't heard of, Anne, until today. What's in it?
Well, it sounds a little bit weird. I think that you told me why it's named shoe fly pie.
Well, because back in the day when the pies were cooling on the front porch, you had to sit and babysit the pie so the flies didn't eat it all.
Shoo the flies away.
Shoo the flies away.
So it's a cane syrup molasses, and it's almost more like a coffee cake. So in the Amish homes, even today, you most always have a shoe fly pie on hand.
Derek, you try it. I already did. It's amazing.
You can serve it to your guests. You can serve it with ice cream or whipped cream or warm it up. It's just kind of a basic
I like all the crumbles.
pie in
Nice
the
and crumbly.
Amish Mennonite.
Okay, now we're not gonna have time to make the actual tea, but we want to taste the tea. What are we drinking here?
We are drinking meadow tea. This is meadow tea.
Meadow tea?
In Pennsylvania, my mom would send me out to the field, to the meadow, and say, "Go get some meadow tea."
Here's
and
the meadow
I
tea.
would take my little apron and I would fill it up with meadow tea. I'd bring it to Mom, and we would make meadow tea. You make it. You bring it's spearmint tea.
Okay.
You put the spearmint tea in the pitcher, and then you pour 2 quarts of hot water, and you seep it.
This is so nice.
You seep the hot water, the tea in the hot water, and then you add 1 cup of sugar. That's way too much right now because of the water.
So yum.
And then you just stir it up and you let it seep. I always let it in my refrigerator overnight, and by the morning, it's wonderful. The more
This is
tea
wonderful.
you can put in, the more tea it will taste.
The tea will be teeing, okay?
Anne Beiler, you are one of a kind.
You truly are.
Please come back and visit us
is great.
anytime. We know you're in town for a very special event. Before we let you know what's happening, we want to remind you her cookbook, Come to the Table, is available now. On Sunday, she will be at First Colony in Sugar Land for a book signing, and I hear that is right next to an Auntie Anne's pretzel shop, by the way.
That's
right in
perfect.
front of the store.
Oh my
correct.
gosh, so wonderful meeting you.